And welcome to the Jason E. Jones and Chris Allen and Here We Are podcast.
It is time for the Jason E. Jones podcast. Chris Allen, Jason E. Jones, and here we are.
And here we are, the Here We Are podcast.
And here we are, not here we are.
And Here We Are podcast. It's a great.
And here we are. Like they don't just call you Chris Allen. They have to call you Chris.
I'm just happy people are calling me. I'm just saying, I get lonely.
Okay, so I've got an idea today I'd like to talk about. What do you think, Chris?
You come up with the best ideas some days.
I do. And then some days I come up with really crummy ideas.
We all have our moments.
We do have our moments.
So,
by the way, an idea for me would be, where do socks go? Socks just disappear. I think there's like I think there's somebody in the world with like 10 gazillion socks.
Well, see, you really don't know where socks go?
No, where do they go?
Man, I thought everybody knew. That's where toilet paper comes from.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like it gets sucked through the magical vent in the back.
A little rough, bud.
Nah, they thin it out. You know what I'm saying? And later on this week, probably next weekend, you guys need to stay up on my YouTube channel, or maybe even the TikTok, and I might even send it to Jason. But I went and bought toilet paper. Made me think of this because I'm gonna need some special toilet paper after I do it. But I did buy the one chip challenge.
What is that?
That is you have
that
nuts.
Ghost pepper thing?
Yeah.
Oh God. Well, it was nice knowing you, buddy.
Yeah. I was gonna do it today, but I slept, and I don't want to do it before I go to work. So it's got to be definitely on a day when I don't have to work, because I already know, like, I'm gonna be afterwards the lava that's gonna come forth from my body.
This is the part where you go, beep.
Yeah, I'm not going into details. I'm just saying, like, I said I'd do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put the video up. I'm gonna put it up on TikTok. I'm gonna put it up on YouTube. If I could put it up as a video podcast, I would, but I'm not set up for that. But it's I foresee a lot of crying in my future. Like, have you ever watched the show Hot Ones?
Yes.
I bought that Last Dab sauce and tried it.
I don't even like mildly spicy stuff. Can you imagine how I would do?
Right. Well, my thing is, I don't mind spicy as long as it has a good taste. The Last Dab sauce was disgusting, was one problem. The second problem was I was doing it with a friend who eats spicy stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he lives off spicy stuff, and I was trying to keep up with him. And so we did like 5 wings, completely covered them in the sauce, and we were eating them. And I got through most of my wings, but at that point, literally my entire body was leaking. I mean, like, wasn't sweat. It's like my body was just... No, I don't mean like that. I mean, like, I was crying, my nose was running, my mouth was drooling, my ears were ringing, sweat was pouring for every single... Oh. Like, it was so bad. Like, I drank milk, and then I chugged ranch. I literally chugged ranch to get my mouth to cool off. Nothing helped.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
It's bad.
Do what you do, as they say, but good luck on doing what you do.
Yeah. So if you don't guys hear from me next week, it's because I died.
Well, that's he was he was a young boy.
He was young, but he died. But
He was young, but he died.
you had a good idea that has nothing to do with me abusing my body, and
Yes.
that was
Yes, I want to talk about what would the world be like if there was never technology invented? Because isn't it funny that you would probably know this answer? What is the estimated time that human beings have been on the Earth?
if you're
12
going
years or something?
if you're going with actual scientific databases, it's been like 4,000 or 5,000, 6,000
It's been
years.
one day since you looked at me. Sorry.
Yeah, it's been about 6,000 years. That
Oh, okay.
recorded history kind of human. There's human life, I believe, before that, but it wasn't super intelligent human life. So yeah, the earliest cave paintings, like when I was saying, 10,000 BC. So what? That's 10,000 BC, then 2,000, about 12,000 years, right in that area.
12,000 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a little bit longer than what we've been on Earth.
Yeah, just a smidge. Well, you have to look at what science is based on. Like, they base it on when they could date and find things that humans left. So they don't necessarily say humans weren't here before that, but we didn't leave any form of record, so there's no way to know.
Right. You didn't have a caveman go, "Hey, this is the caveman. I'm leaving a message," and yeah.
Right. Yeah, all the messages in the bottle we left were destroyed. They
Hey, how about Christina Aguilera? Was there a genie in the bottle?
Her genie was never in the bottle anyway.
Oh my goodness! Good. Beep.
What?
Beep.
I didn't say anything that horrible. We have not earned the explicit tag yet.
Beep, 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 beep. I put one on the episode today that I did the interview. Well, it was more of just a back and forth with Chris Griffin. He controls the comedy in northern Georgia. He's the guy.
Well, okay,
Anyway.
There's comedy in northern Georgia?
Yes.
I didn't think there was anything in northern Georgia. Like, I've been through Georgia, right? And this is what I remember about Georgia. I crossed the border from Tennessee. They said it was Georgia. Then there was nothing, Atlanta, nothing, Florida.
Oh.
That's what I remember about Georgia. I'm not even trying to be mean to Georgia. It's just like it was like there was nothing but Atlanta, and then Atlanta.
Oh, by the way, I have to tell you, our new sponsor is the state of Georgia.
Oh well, hey, Atlanta's awesome, minus the traffic and y'all inability to name a street.
Oh gosh, that's grand.
Have you driven
Okay.
in Atlanta?
Oh please, yes.
Okay, I have a question. Why is everything Peachtree Street?
I don't know.
Cause I literally we I had to go down there for my sister. She graduated from Salvation Army Bible College down there, and we're like, oh, it's on Peachtree Street. So we went to Peachtree Street, and we couldn't find the place, and we stopped, and they go, oh no, that's on this Peachtree Street. I'm like, wait, there's another Peachtree Street? Oh, there's like 13. I'm like, how do you find anything if everything's Peachtree Street? Just saying.
Okay, are you ready to get into our topic? You have destroyed our sponsors from the great state of Georgia.
Oh, that's okay. That's fine. Next, you tell me that our next sponsor is gonna be the Alabama football team, and then we're just not gonna be able to talk at all.
Yeah, you know me, that ain't gonna happen.
No. Our topic: lack of technology. Now, when you hit me with this, you hit me with a lack of radio and television. So are we just doing lack of television and radio, or are we doing all technology? Because
Well, I mean, okay, so what was the first bit of technology, like the beep 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 beep?
No, the first technology was probably the technology that changed two things. That changed the world: plumbing The Romans, when they built the aqueduct system so they could bring in fresh water and have fresh water removed so people could stop being nomads. 'Cause that's why people were nomads for the most part, was you stayed in an area until you filled it full of crap and then you moved to the next one.
Gotcha.
And when the Romans came up with the aqueduct system, actually created a kind of a sewer system. That's when cities started getting bigger. It's like, oh, we can stay here because it's not so horrible. And there was less disease. The next big one, I mean, you could say writing, but the printing press was a big deal. Because before the printing press, in order to get a book or anything, you literally had to write it out over and over again by hand. So the printing press was a massive invention that allowed...
Can you imagine Nostradamus and Shakespeare? Ooh.
Well, I mean, yeah. And that's... So the printing press was a massive invention that really advanced our society a lot. See, the aqueduct, the printing press, probably the telephone was the next biggest thing. Because, the telegrams were good, like you're talking about, but the wires could get broken and there was a lot of problems. The telephone was a big deal. And then you get into, electricity in general.
What's your opinion on why it took human beings, if we've been on the earth 12,000 years, it took them 11,700 years before we found technology?
Well, initially everybody's goal was just to survive. That was the hunter-gatherer period. Like, our whole purpose was to live. Everything was about living. We weren't farming. There wasn't agriculture. There was hunting the next animal and trying not to die. That was it.
Yeah, that's a good thing to do.
And when that's your sole existence, you don't have time to sit and invent things and think about things.
Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing there? I don't know. Cain? Maybe. Okay, that's a bad one. Was there Peyton back then? Hey, Peyton. No, there wasn't Peyton.
No, it was Grog. Hey, Grog.
Hey, Grog. What are you doing over there? I'm inventing. Well, you better watch out for that saber-tooth tiger.
Right. Grog invent better weapon. No. So, with the development of agriculture, where they didn't have to spend so much time hunting for food, that allowed the advancement. We actually hit a giant snag in our advancement. In medieval times, the Dark Ages actually set us back.
Did it?
It did. We were actually progressing pretty good, and then we hit the Dark Ages, and remember I talked about the wonderful aqueduct system that kept getting the crap out of the cities and stuff like that?
Yeah, I remember that.
People were literally...
I don't remember it personally. But...
Yeah. People were literally, like, pooping in buckets and throwing it in the streets. Like, so there was illness and the Black Plague and all that kind of stuff. It actually kind of set us back. We would be way more advanced now had that not have happened. The Dark Ages set us back, and then after that, and things started getting better again. And everything's pretty much been a steady advancement. The more comfortable our society has gotten, the more time people have had to sit around and think, the more stuff has gotten invented.
That's a fantastic... I knew I brought you on for a reason. That is a fantastic just statement. That's a fantastic, like... What do they call that? Hypothesis or something?
Well, that wasn't even a hypothesis. It's a reality of what has happened. Like, and it's. I love to say it's 100% my thought. It's not. It's from some philosophy and stuff that I read, but it's
plagiarism.
Not plagiarism, because I'm not claiming it. But
hey, there's a joke. Wait! I gotta stop you. So. You know how you have gangs, street gangs, bike gangs?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, what's your feelings on the end of the world? Well, these are my feelings. Oh, that's fantastic. But I ain't claiming it. Okay. All right. Okay. Sorry.
That's good. Another big setback for technology was religion.
Yes.
Because they want to deny science and religion. Religion wants to be like, no, it's our way. Yeah. Look, everybody has about the Big Bang being a theory, the theory of evolution, and the Catholic Church especially likes to fight that a lot. But Okay, guys, this one is mine. I sat down and thought about this. I sat down and looked at it. I sat down and did a timeline. Are you ready for some heavy stuff? Are you ready? Like,
I'm ready.
okay. So, if you take away for Genesis the time limit of 7 days.
Beep.
I don't know why you beep that, but okay. If you take away the time limit of 7 days, okay, and you take the theory of evolution and put it on top of the way that God made the universe, it's in the Bible, they match perfectly.
What is this? Some kind of Pink Floyd mixed with the Wizard of Oz kind of deal?
It's not that. Okay, so for example, the first thing he did was God created the heavens and the earth, right?
Yes.
First thing happened, Big Bang, which created all the heavens and the earth. That's what happened. The second thing was the formation of the sky and the ground and all that stuff. That's the 2nd thing that happened in the theory of evolution. The next thing that happened was the water separated and exposed land, and then the God created the animals in the sea. First thing in theory of evolution was animals in the ocean. There was nothing on the land. It came out of the ocean to the land. Like, it literally, each thing for the theory of evolution lines up except for one, and that's the appearance of man. But in the theory of evolution, there is that missing link. They talk about it all the time, where there's a massive leap from gorilla to man, and they don't really know where that missing link is. They've never found it, which lines up with one day there was this man. The only thing that doesn't match is, if you follow the Bible, it had to happen in 7 days.
Okay.
But the theory of evolution says this took millions of years. So the question comes down to, what is one day to God?
Okay, but let's get back on the rails. You've taken us off to the side of a road, and we're on the side of the Himalayas or Nepal and eating fruits.
Yeah,
Let's focus back on the story here. What would life be like in today's world without technology?
And this is where it comes down to the definition of technology.
By the way, that's really good stuff, and we will get on that again, but we're getting more into philosophical ideas with divinity and stuff, you would say. I almost sound like I went to a Catholic school.
Right?
I did go to a Catholic school, but anyway,
well,
go ahead.
My question comes down to, you want to say no technology. Well, what is your definition of technology? Are we going to a certain level of advancement? Because if you say no technology, you got to go all the way back to taking down to plumbing, because that's a technology. Okay. So are we saying a certain advancement of technology, or are we going to go back to caveman days?
Well, we never figured out the radio, the transmissions, how all that works. We've never figured out TV. We never figured out, obviously, the internet.
So we have electricity, we have phones.
No phones? No electricity or phone.
Ooh. Oh, man. Okay. That's a hard world to imagine, but that world existed. We would just be stuck there.
Yeah.
And you're going to say, so we're going to be the Revolutionary War era. That's where we're at. And that lack of advancement, which means we would never, because we would never be able to support the society we have now.
Right. No, of course not. Yeah. I'm sitting here in a temperature controlled, for the most part, house with a TV and all the things in the world you could want. And some people look at this and go, wow, that's okay. That's not bad. We just want more and more. So my thing is yes, that the fact that we never figured out anything past fire.
Okay. When I say that, you're talking about the comfort. So I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking agricultural wise. We wouldn't be able to feed the current society.
Right.
Like, if we took all that away right now, so no tractors, no nothing, we wouldn't even be able to supply food for a society this size. It would, the population would be cut in half easily. For one.
If not more.
which is honestly why most technology advance happens, is to support more life, because I don't know if you noticed, but people like to have sex.
True.
So we would end up with a very, it would be a very, very desolate, horrible society, because people wouldn't stop doing the deed, and we'd be overpopulated and not be able to feed everybody. Like,
Okay, so take for instance antibiotics and uh, peroxide and things like that, alcohol to treat infection. My question to you then would be: would we have that?
no, no,
Okay, so we
we
wouldn't be
wouldn't
able
even
to
have
fight
penicillin.
infection. You
Well,
wouldn't. Okay, no penicillin. We couldn't fight infection or anything.
well, they did have stuff they did before that to fight infections. It just wasn't as effective as we have now. But with that, the society actually, health wise, probably would have been, as far as fighting infections, a little bit stronger, because a lot of the stuff that we actually take now suppresses the natural body's immune system. Um, so it would have been stronger. And there's a lot of research into it right now, where if you were eating healthier and eating better and not doing the lazy things we do, like laying around watching TV, that you wouldn't need as many antibiotics. You wouldn't be getting as sick.
Oh, okay.
There's a dude who, as a whole, is a little crazy, and I don't recommend doing the things he's doing, but he's called a Liver King. And he preaches the ancestral lifestyle. He says that's how he lives, even though he lives in a $100 million mansion. But only eats raw food, only does workouts and stuff, lives as a caveman basically in his $100 million house.
Caveman in $100 million house.
I'm just saying that, but he only he eats raw liver every day. That's what he eats. He eats bull testicle. He eats.
Beep.
That's not a beep, because it's a thing, and he actually eats it.
That's nasty, bro. You're so nasty.
But like his health is better. Like, his kids had a lot of health problems, and that's why he started doing this research. And by living naturally, his actually health is improved. A lot of the stuff that makes us sick or makes us weaker is the processes we use to make the food, the chemicals, the pesticides, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so there's research going to that, like, that's what's hurting us. So even though we wouldn't have some of those things, it would that could actually balance out and be okay, because people were still living decent ages in the revolutionary times. We're not talking caveman times where if you made it to 38, you were lucky. Even the revolutionary times, there was doctors, there was medical stuff. Now, if you had appendicitis, you were screwed, because surgery wasn't really a thing. And you had diabetes, you were screwed, because, well, yeah.
Well, you probably wouldn't be getting diabetes because the level of the food wouldn't be anywhere near as bad as it is.
You wouldn't have type 2 diabetes, but type 1 diabetes would still be a thing, because type 1 diabetes is just coming from your pancreas not functioning. Your body doesn't produce insulin. Type 2 diabetes is that I got fat, so my body can't handle sugar anymore diabetes, which is the one I have.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But type 1 diabetics would just be toast.
Okay, so it's 2022, and we don't have any of those things. I think that obviously the population would be, what would you say? Because right now we're somewhere between 7.5 billion and 8 billion people on this planet. I would say we'd probably be somewhere between 2 and 3 billion people.
If that.
Really?
Yeah. Without the technology to support, it would be horrible. We wouldn't even be. I don't know if we'd go that far, and life would suck.
Well, it would suck compared to what we know right now. But if we never knew of this life, then it wouldn't suck.
You say that, but you know what? You ever seen any of the pictures from those time periods?
Yeah, but people had to have had some enjoyment in life.
Did you ever see a smile? Did one?
Well, that's funny you say that, because what I've read and been told was the reason why they didn't smile, because they thought it was a lack of it was the lack of respect if you smiled in a picture.
Oh, well, that's not actually the reason I heard. The reason I heard what made sense too was that those pictures back then, the way they had to expose it, you had to stand there for like 10 minutes without moving and holding a smile for 10 minutes sucked.
Well, if we had a time machine like I asked you to build,
I tried. I didn't have enough tinfoil.
jeez. If we had a time machine, we'd just go back in time.
Now, you say you wouldn't notice, but and you're probably right, not knowing this world go back. But at the same time, like there'd been more death. There wouldn't be like you couldn't watch a sports game unless you were there. The way we play modern sports would be gone.
Yeah, because people would be so focused on
Not dying.
on the main three things, and I think I'm right about this: food, shelter, and water.
Yeah, like and your whole life would just literally be day to day work constantly. You wouldn't have a day off. Like, I'm technology has made our life easier, and that's why we have the advancements. I mean, the world existed, so I can't say I struggle to imagine it, but it wouldn't be awesome. I mean,
I think it could. I think it could be because again, if you have never had anything like that, you wouldn't know to miss anything like that.
right? But you want to go back so far, like take away like even the printing press, like that's man.
Yeah, well, my question is this, and again, I've been this way because I got into stand up, even at an amateur level, as you think about things like why are things the way they are? The philosophy of the world. Why are things the way they are? Why did it take human beings, again, if we've been here 12,000 years, why did it take us 11,800 and something years before we started to look in the last what 250 years, how far the last 200 years,
Look at the last 40 years.
come out. The what?
Look at the last 40 years.
The last 40 years.
You were talking about advancements, like from 1970 to now. Okay, we've gone from telephones to cell phones that can connect to the internet, to cell phones that you can use to call other countries. You couldn't even call other countries from a regular phone in the 70s. I can call Russia. Well, probably not Russia right now, but I could call my buddy in Japan. You know, and not just call them, but I could get them on video and talk to them and see them.
Yeah.
You know, that right there, that level of
advancement. See Putin, you're like, hey, is Crimea a good place? And are they really? Never mind. I'm not going to get into that.
Is it really worth fighting for?
Yeah, right.
Like if you invade the Bahamas, I get it, but Ukraine, they don't even have beaches. What are you doing?
Have you checked the weather report here lately? But okay, so you make good points. What is it about? I mean, obviously we don't know until we meet our maker, and then it still may be. And I'm a comedian. It still may be one of those things where it's like, oh wow, I'm going to get to find out what happened to JFK, and then they're going to go, oh, not so fast.
Yeah.
Who told you were going to get to hear all this?
And once you're in heaven, why do you even care anymore? You're in heaven. Be happy.
Yeah. Well, again, I think that's another story for another day, but we're just kind of focusing on if there was never technology. Like, I talked to my grandpa way back during the Great Depression in the 30s, the late 20s and 30s. They would go to bed and they would work all day long, and they would eat whatever was there, and they were very poor. Poor wasn't even the word back then. They were lucky to get I mean, a Chick-fil-A meal to a lot of people is a big deal. A Chick-fil-A meal back in those days was maybe cornbread and pinto beans. And that's why gravy came along, because it was a poor man's, you could eat it and you could just pour it over bread and it would fill you up.
Yeah.
You couldn't sit there and go, I'm a vegetarian, or I don't like that. And they would go, oh, really? You don't like that?
Yeah.
Well, you're not eating.
Nobody's lactose intolerant in Ethiopia.
There wasn't a dollar store back then where you could just go and buy food, and it just, there's so many different directions that we could go with this, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. But I want to keep people thinking about it and guessing. Let's go ahead and we'll wrap it up. What's your opinion? So you say absolutely not.
No, I honestly don't think it would have happened. I mean, I cannot see any version of that ever happen. Humans constantly want to progress. It's been from the beginning till now. I don't think that world could have ever existed without technology. And if it had, I honestly feel like the human species almost would eventually have died off.
Yeah.
Like the numbers would have gotten so low that it wouldn't have been good. I mean, that's why the Amish community doesn't expand anymore. Like they level off. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no. And don't take away my computer. I love my computer.
You imagine in those days going to somebody and going, excuse me, do you have email?
Right? Yeah.
Do I have what?
I mean,
hang him for treason, heresy.
All right, so I got one bad joke about that, and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go there. So, like, how would I know how to make my penis bigger if I didn't get email? Because I get that email twice a day.
But
I really do, though. What the crap? All right, guys. Oh.
That was good stuff, man.
It was great stuff. All right. So, as always, it's Chris Allen and
Jason E. Jones.
And here we are, podcast. Go USA.
Go USA.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show wherever you're listening to this show. If you're listening to the Chris Allen Show, awesome. If you're listening to the Jason E. Jones Show, even better. We look forward to bringing you more contact. And if you want to help us out with that, you can hit us up at www.patreon.com/worstjokes and help fund the show. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us at cman234 at Twitter, at Twitter, at cman234 at Twitter. You can find on Facebook, the Chris Allen Podcast. You can find Jason on Facebook, the Jason E. Jones Podcast. You can also find him on Twitter, too. Just search for the Jason E. Jones Podcast, and you'll find him. We're all there. We're all here for you. If you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to an email at asktheangryninja@gmail.com. You want to be on the show, reach out, hit us up. We'll get you on the show, interview. You want to come tell a joke, tell a joke. We're all here. If you have an outrageous story, I'd love to hear it. We'll put that up too. So just let us know. And if you have anything you want to hear, let us know. Twitter's the best way just to let you know. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye.